Hello and welcome to the Share It with Ishani podcast. And I am Ishani Gupta, radio anchor and a public speaking coach. Here's a reminder, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I bring in one podcast episode every single Saturday. Today, I have a very special guest on my podcast because she is my very sweet friend and colleague from All India Radio. But she is not only a radio anchor, she is a multi-talented personality. She's a PR consultant for the past 8 to 10 years. She is into this particular field. She's also a teacher. She is a professor in mass communication as well as journalism. And she has also contributed to book chapters for different books, different authors. And she has also given her voiceovers to certain documentaries by Prasar Bharati. So she is my multi-talented friend, Ruchi Pathania from Chandigarh. Hi Ruchi, please welcome to my show. I'm so happy, so glad you are on my show today. I have been waiting for this for so long.
Hi, Ishani. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. Rather, you've given such a nice and such a, expansive introduction of me. I'm humbled. Though I would say that you are the one who's truly multi-talented and who's doing such a great job with a podcast, which I'm sure helps like everybody out there who's watching and listening to learn something more, to improve more. So thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to, in fact, see you after such a long time. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ruchi, for your kind words. So let us begin with effective communication. You have been a public relations consultant for so many years and you have dealt with so many people, and definitely communicating effectively with different people was a very important part of your career. So I would like to know some tips on that. But before that, please tell me, what is the most important lesson that you have learned over these years?
Right. Okay. Thank you, Ishani. And once again, grateful for this opportunity. And as per your question, see, I believe the most basic thing that I learned in my entire career, I should say it's still an ongoing journey. I'm still learning. I'm still evolving as a public relations consultant or a public relations professional. But I think the key here, what I learned from from the people I've worked under, is it all boils down to thinking clearly and rationally and communicating effectively or communicating clearly, right? So think rationally, communicate clearly. That is the essence and ethos of this entire profession. There have been times when I've interacted with people from outside the industry, and what their perspective about PR is that PR is all about glam. It's all about spinning things up and kind of just whitewashing things which are not right. That's what I'd like to differ on, and that is what I have been always trying to this perception. This perception is what I've been trying to allay through discussions and talks with like-minded friends and even anybody else, whoever I come across and who has the patience to listen to me. That PR is not about really whitewashing or putting a spin on things. या झूठ को तुम सफेद झूठ को paint करके present कर दो. It's about effectively telling the story that you have in hand, using the facts that you have in hand, facts which are factually correct, right? And even if there's something that is not really very palatable or not very positive that you think might not really, do good to your firm or company or brand name, how do you effectively and truthfully put that across to your audiences? How do you gain their confidence that, okay, this is what is wrong, but I'm taking accountability, and this is how I intend to put it right? That, that entire push towards effectively showcasing your message, presenting your message in a truthful manner, and then achieving your target of changing the negative situation to positive, and then bolstering it and showing your audience ki dekhiye yahan galat hua tha, we owned up, we had the accountability, and this is how we've measured up, and this is what we are right now. That is PR in the actual terms. It is not just wish wash or just simple advertising, no. And how does it all connect to communication? It connects to communication by way of the fact that you've communicated clearly and factually, and you've thought through whatever you're saying, right? And you've not really tried to con your audiences. So that's what I learned in PR and as a PR public relations consultant. As long as I'm thinking clearly, I'm thinking rationally, and I'm communicating it in a manner which is understandable and which is clear to my audience, I have my job done. So that's about
I
it.
really love this particular crux that you have given, and I'm sure this is going to help a lot of my viewers, because thinking rationally is the thing that we often forget about. We sometimes get confused that why are we not able to communicate our message effectively? But the problem could also be in your thought process.
Right.
You might not be able to construct your lines of thoughts correctly. That is very important for
Absolutely.
any kind of effective communication or any kind of speaking, I would say. So thanks a lot for sharing this very important message. That brings me to the second question, that is, how important is communicating effectively in the field of public relations?
Thank you, Ishani. Yeah, so continuing from what we were discussing in the previous question, communicating effectively is very crucial to public relations, because as you would know, and as all of us and most of us understand, that public relations is, it's communicating. It's not communicating exactly, but it requires communicating, of course, on a day-to-day basis to various and varied kinds of audiences. But it means the crux of PR is you're able to maintain, to build, to maintain, and to sustain relationships between various audiences, right? It could be your customers, your consumers, your stakeholders, the government, even the media to some extent. Though media is mostly the medium that you use to, push that message forward. So that's why I say when you are trying to reach out to various audiences, when you're trying to kind of mold the perception or to enhance the perception of certain brand or a certain personality or a company in the eyes of your target audience, communication is what helps you do that. Now that communication could be written communication, that communication could be verbal communication, where you have written communication by way of articles, press releases, you have opinion articles that are written on behalf of your clients, right? And then there is verbal communication, where you have your clients interact with members of the media or members of the public, right? And so on and so forth. As also communicating on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. These communication mediums have become so important, right, to any profession. Public relations more so specifically, because this has given us public relations people another realm of target medium, where we need to monitor constantly as to what exactly is the audience sensing, our target audience sensing, what is it that they need, what is it that they're saying about our brand, right? And accordingly, we have to frame our communication. We have to frame our message that is going out to the media, which matches with what their expectations are. So to kind of put it all into a single sentence, if I may say so, communication is what allows us to do that, right?
Yeah.
So as you said, your question was that how is communicating effectively crucial to public relations? This is how. When you are able to pinpoint and you're able to understand and perceive what is it that your audience is wanting from you, or the brand that you're trying to promote, or the personality you're trying to promote, and you are able to effectively give them that that maybe there's a particular perception that they're looking at, maybe there's a particular initiative they're looking at. If you're able to do that, and you're able to communicate what your company or brand is doing in a manner which is simple to understand, relatable, full of facts, that's when you succeed in your aim of promoting that particular brand or a company, or basically in enhancing the PR profile of that particular brand or company. So this is where I think communication. So PR is all about communication. It's about talking to your audiences. It's about writing to them. It's about interacting with them in social media, countering perceptions which might be inimical to your brand in a very amicable way, right? And giving them effective answers or effective solutions to the issues that they have. So as long as you're communicating effectively in public relations or as a PR person, rest assured that you will be an asset to not just your brand but also to yourself and to anybody that you're interacting with. So that's my two bits on how.
Thanks a lot for this perspective, because this is what I also teach in my coaching program, that your target audience, you need to keep them in your mind at all times. Whenever you are communicating, it can be anybody, even if you are not a company, even if you are not a business person, you might be a student, you might be someone looking for a job. So even if you fall into that category, you can be in any category, but if you need to communicate to a person, you need to keep your target audience in mind. And the second most important thing that Ruchi has said, that you need to keep it to the point, and you need to see to it that whatever you are communicating is the requirement of your target audience. So you need to see to it as well that you are not saying something, you are not talking about something which they don't really want to listen, they really don't need. You need to see what is their requirement, their need, and then communicate accordingly.
So, and also, Ishani, if I may add, please, to the point that you're making, that in today's digital era, most of us don't have time, right? I mean, we are short on time. Everything that we need today, it's like instant gratification. So in an environment and in an ambience where everything is required or everything just has to happen in minutes, if we don't communicate effectively, I think the entire message or whatever the objective that we have or whatever we intend to convey to our audience, it just gets lost in case you are not doing or you're not communicating effectively or in a precise and short and crisp manner. So that's another thing I'd like to add.
Yes, for sure. Short and crisp. That is the thing we need to keep in mind. So the language should be very simple as well as short. If you can remember that, it is very easy to communicate effectively, because communication is very simple. It is only us that overcomplicate communication.
It is also actually complicated. You're right. Yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah. So already we have shared a few tips, but now I would like to ask Ruchi if she can share some more tips on effective communication, how a person can convey the message effectively to the target audiences.
Okay, thank you, Ishani. Though honestly, I would say that given from I've known you since so long, and I'm sure whatever you've conveyed to your audience, and I've seen your presentations, and I've attended your webinars, and I've heard your podcasts. You have that knack. But still, if I may add to the certain suggestions, I may say, if not tips, is that basically be yourself. Number one. Do not try to imitate, or do not try to just focus on being somebody who already speaks you think is an ideal speaker or is an ideal communicator. Just be yourself. Start from where you are and see what suits you, what pace of communication suits you, what type of language suits you, right? And apart from that, the second thing is the language that you're communicating in. Do not be, do not ever be hindered or hampered by the fact that you don't know a certain language or you don't know certain notions or certain expressions of a language. Because I think, we are learners. All of us are learners throughout our life. So if you put your heart into it, and if you know that you have something to say and you can effectively communicate, I don't think language can remain a barrier for a long time. It might be for a little while, but then your will to get over it can really help you to kind of reach that stage where you yourself communicate so effectively that the thought that you don't know the language or these are the hindrances that will stop us, they just go out of the window. So the two tips I can share, as I said, is be yourself, and don't let any hindrances of not knowing a certain language or not being or not speaking in a certain way stop you from overcoming those and communicating effectively and saying what you want to say in a good manner. So those are the two suggestions that I have.
Thank you so much. This is so wonderful talking to you. I'm so enjoying, and learning from you, Ruchi.
Thank you, Ishani. Thank you. Likewise. It's the same for me, and I'm so grateful that you've given me the time to just discuss and to kind of convey whatever little thoughts I have about communication. But as I said, we all are learners. I still need to learn a lot, and I see you as an inspiration as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Ruchi. So, any final message for my viewers?
What I keep telling myself, I'll convey the same thing, that don't ever give up on hope. Because hope surmounts. Hope helps you surmount anything that's bothering you. And the second thing is never give up on yourself. I've lived this through. I've seen friends who've overcome immense amount of challenges in their life, and they're doing so well today. And I also heard President Obama saying this in his speech once: don't give up on yourself ever. So, it resonated with me because I could feel that entire thing, that okay, that's how it works. So that's about it. Don't ever give up on hope, because hope always surmounts, and never give up on yourself. And keep practicing your communication, and just don't give up on yourself, because you will get there. So that's about it. Thank you.
Wow, such a wonderful message, such a beautiful message, Ruchi. Thank you so much. So, this message from Ruchi: don't ever forget that you should never give up on yourself. Always have that hope in yourself, because we all are going through something or the other. It is not just one person. Even I'm going through certain challenges, she's going through certain challenges, and I'm sure you in your lives have certain different challenges, but we need to just keep going. That is the message that Ruchi has shared with us, and I do very strongly believe in that. So thanks a lot, Ruchi. Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and for allowing me to speak. And I wish you and all your viewers the very best. And I would request them all to subscribe to your channel, of course, because as a veteran AIR presenter, on-air presenter, I've seen you in action, and I'm sure everybody will immensely benefit from what you have to offer in terms of helping communicate effectively. So thank you so much.
She's damn sweet.
Not at all. Genuinely so. I'm like, you will get inspiration. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ruchi. So signing off today from Share It with Ishani, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.